Hello, welcome to my video today. I'm Old Gun Guy. It's going to be on the very fine, very interesting cartridge, the 6.5 millimeter PRC Precision Rifle Cartridge. And my platform for it will be a Mossberg Patriot Predator rifle in 6.5 PRC. I'll go into the cartridge first, and then I'll go into the rifle that I'm going to shoot it out of. This cartridge came out in 2018, so it hasn't really been out a whole long time. But it jumped on the 6.5 millimeter bandwagon. But it was designed as a precision target cartridge, precision rifle cartridge. That's where it gets its name. The 6.5 millimeter has always been kind of like an orphan bore diameter. Attempts were made from like the 60s to bring out cartridges that were in that caliber. The 6.5 millimeter Remington Magnum, which is pretty much a ballistic twin to this. The 264 Winchester Magnum. Fine cartridge. It had a reputation for burning barrels. It's overbore, meaning large propellant capacity relative to its bore size, 6.5 millimeter. The original 6.5 millimeter, 6.5 by 55 Swedish, which became a very popular cartridge in this country and in Europe. Very accurate cartridge, very capable cartridge. Used in many hunting roles, moose and stag in Europe, and very long, high sectional density, good ballistic coefficient bullets. The Swede was mainly loaded with round nose bullets, and they're deep penetrating and are effective on large game. Not dangerous game, but large game. And it's also a fine target cartridge, and it was their military cartridge. In recent years, they came out with the 6.5 millimeter Creedmoor, which was, I believe, a 30 Thompson TC Contender cartridge, neck down to 6.5 millimeter. Short cartridge, fit in a short action, like 308, size action, and that was designed as a target cartridge for 1,000-yard matches, and it serves real well in that role. But it's basically the same power level as a 260 Remington. They came out with that cartridge also in the later years. It's a neck down 308 to 6.5 millimeter. There's been many attempts, and there's been quite a few cartridges. The 264 Winchester Magnum was off in the wilderness for quite a while. I see recently that Winchester just started introducing rifles again in 264 Winchester Magnum. I personally never saw the need of it, since I always had a 7 millimeter Magnum. It's a little more versatile, but the 264 is a fine cartridge for people who have it. I do some long range target shooting, 600 up to 600 yards, and then when I feel like taking a 2-hour ride, the 1,000-yard range, and that's what I purposely got this for, just to experiment with. And I got an inexpensive rifle, but a very capable rifle, the Mossberg Patriot Predator. The 6.5 PRC, I think a company called GA Precision approached Hornady about making a precision rifle cartridge that had a lot more power than the 6.5 Creedmoor. And Hornady and their engineers in a collaboration come out with the 6.5 PRC. And its parent cartridge is the very fine 375 Ruger, basically a large to dangerous game cartridge, Magnum cartridge. They shortened that to form the 300 Ruger Compact Magnum, and then further necked it down to this cartridge here, the 6.5 PRC. It's a Magnum class cartridge. It shares the same head size as the great grandfather here, the 375 H&H Magnum, see if I can put them upside down. You see the bodies are similar in size, although the 6.5 is much shorter. But it's the 532 thousandths of an inch case head diameter. So it's a Magnum glass cartridge. It has no belt. It's one of the modern beltless Magnums, if you will. The reloading data for it was pretty scarce. The latest Hornady reloading manual does have 6.5 data, and interestingly enough, half a dozen loads in each of the heavier bullet weights exceed the 264 Winchester Magnum in velocity, which the 264 Win Mag is probably 100 feet a second faster. If the 6.5 Creedmoor drive, or the 260 Remington will drive 140 grain 6.5 millimeter bullets at 2,700 feet a second, you're talking 250, 300 feet a second faster on this. 3,000, 3,050, according to some of the hand loading data. The cartridge, 264 thousandths of an inch projectile. The sweet spot in projectile weights is 140 to 150 grains. They're high sectional density. And sectional density refers to the ratio between the mass of the bullet and the bore diameter. And the higher the sectional density, the greater propensity for retaining velocity going down range when it's fired, and penetration, better penetration. Although it is dependent on bullet design too, which is a very streamlined bolt tail bullet. The Sierra Match Kings, the Hornady match ammo, match loadings, and I have some of this Norma golden target, 143 grain. It was on sale a while back for 20 bucks a box. I scooped up about 8 or 10 boxes, and I've been shooting it up to make the cases. It operates at 65,000 psi. Magnum, you need a Magnum bolt face on your bolt action rifle. The Creedmoor was designed to function in a AR platform. This is designed to function in a bolt action rifle. And since its introduction, it's been a fine target cartridge, and it's also been people have used it for hunting, and I would rate it in the 270 class cartridge. Long shots on say sheep out west, pronghorn, mule deer. You can take bigger game like elk and moose, but it depends on a premium bullet and shot placement. Because it's only 6.5 millimeter, and the bullets top out around 150 grains. You can kill any game animal with any bullet, but whether it's ethical or a good idea is another matter, And the smaller caliber, the more perfect shot you need to ethically, dispatch an animal. Broadside shot. If you get a quartering shot, front quartering, rear quartering shot, chest shot, caliber and bullet selection is a prime factor. Like I said, I got the cartridge just to get into the cartridge. To load for it, I got an inexpensive rifle. The rifle only cost me $450, I think, about 4 years ago. And it's a fine rifle. It reminds me a lot of the Savage 110, how it's constructed. I'll get into that in a minute. Some of the ballistics. I ran my Sierra ballistics program, and I put 2 loads in here. 6.5 PRC, 142 grain Sierra Match King at 2,950 feet a second, and the 300 Winchester Mag, 190 grain Sierra Match King at 2,950 feet a second at the muzzle. Beyond about 600 yards, 700 yards, this actually shoots slightly flatter than a 300 Win Mag, and with a lot less recoil. So I'm just going to give a couple of figures here. I'm not going to read every yardage figure, but the 6.5 PRC at the muzzle, 2,950 at 500 yards, The velocities dropped to 2,223 feet a second and 1,859 foot-pounds of energy. And 1,000 yards, it's 1,592 feet per second velocity, still well supersonic, and 799 foot-pounds of energy. The wind drift at 500 yards with this round is 2.6 MOA, and at 1,000 yards, 6.2 MOA. The drop at 500 is 6.9 MOA and 1,024.2 MOA. Now we get to the 300 Win Mag, and I've shot both of them cartridges at 1,000 yards, pinging steel no problem, including this 6.5 with this inexpensive rifle. The velocity at 500 yards for the 190 Sierra Match King 300 Win Mag, 2164. And the energy is 1,976 foot-pounds. 1,000 yards, 1,512 feet per second, well supersonic. 965 foot-pounds of energy. As far as the drop figures, at 500 yards, it's 7.1 MOA versus 6.9 for the 6.5, and 25.5 MOA for the 300 Win Mag versus 24.2 for the 6.5. And the wind drift, 2.6 is the 6.5, 2.9 for the 300 Win Mag, and at 1,000 yards, it's 6.2 for the 6.5 and 6.8 inch MOA at 1,000 yards. So you get a very ballistically similar profile, although slightly superior to the 300 Winchester Magnum. And that's the two cartridges next side by side. The 300 Win Mag obviously has a lot more recoil than the 6.5 PRC. And in rifles that weigh the same, the recoil energy is calculated. I'll give them to you. 6.5 PRC, some common rifle loads. Recoil energy when you fire the gun is 16.24 foot-pounds. The 270 Winchester, a very popular cartridge, is 17.04 foot-pounds. I got it here. The 308 is 18.27 foot-pounds. So 6.5 PRC is right in the 308, 270 class as far as recoil, and the 3006 is 21.5 foot-pounds. So mild recoiling, very capable cartridge in the target arena, and that's what all I've used this for. I haven't hunted with it. Like I said, it would make a very fine cartridge in the 270 Winchester class. Flat shooting, and with the high ballistic coefficient hunting bullets that shed their velocity, at a slower rate than non-high ballistic coefficient bullets. Retains the velocity at long range. That's the magic to these 6.5s. High ballistic coefficient, high sectional density. The cartridge operates at 65,000 PSI. Magnum case. It is a short action cartridge. It'll fit in the same short actions as a 308 or 243 Winchester will. And I got a 308 and a 243 Winchester on either side of this 6.5 PRC, 6.5 PRC in the middle, 243 Winchester, 308 Winchester. And obviously the 243 is just a 308 neck down a 6mm. But very fine cartridge, inherently accurate cartridge from what I can tell, and low recoiling. It's only been out, it was officially introduced by Hornady in 2018, so it's 8 years old right now. Like I said, in their latest manual, Hornady's, which I acquired, I don't know, about 6 months ago, they do have PRC data. And some of it is superior to the ballistics with the same bullets for the 264 Winchester Magnum. when you get into cartridges, you know, larger powder capacities, this holds anywhere from 45 to 55 grains, depending on propellant and powder. And a short package, it's very efficient, so extends barrel life. 264 or other overbore cartridges like the 6.5 millimeter by 300 Weatherby Magnums, crazy ones like that, burn an awful lot of powder, and they burn the barrels out. The barrel steel and the barrel making technology is a lot better than it was in the 60s, but still, it shortens barrel life. And I read somewhere that the barrel life, you know, the total accurate barrel life for this is somewhere 1,500 to 1,800 rounds before it starts degrading. Your 300 Winchester mag is about 1,500 rounds before the fine accuracy starts degrading. But it's getting in the weeds. It doesn't mean it's going to be totally an accurate rifle, and most people are never going to fire 1,500 rounds out of their deer rifle. But a target rifle you will, or if you're in a match competition. You can load bullets like 129, so you basically use this almost for varmints all the way up to, with the right bullet, I guess moose or elk with the right shot. But you know, it's optimized for long shots at you know, coyotes, goats, pronghorn. You know, if you get a, you know, deer, whitetail or mule deer, black-tailed deer, I think that's where it would excel. The rifle is Mossberg Patriot Predator model. All right, comes Cerakoted in this flat dark earth finish. Reminds me very much of the Savage 110 model. Has a barrel nut, but I'll go from the muzzle here. Comes with a threaded muzzle, I guess for a suppressor. I put a muzzle brake on it, and I can actually watch the shots going down range when I'm shooting a longer range with it. There's a Harris bipod on it. You know, if you're hunting out west, ain't a bad attachment to your hunting rifle. This scope is not a hunting scope. It's big and heavy, and the rifle only weighs 6.5 pounds. 24-inch barrel. It's got a fluted barrel. It's 180 rifling twist. It's got a very nice trigger that breaks at 3 pounds. I'm gonna pull it with the trigger gauge in a minute. A nice recoil pad, and it's got this camo synthetic stock. Depress it, pull the bolt out. The bolt looks very much like a well, it doesn't have a separate bolt head like a Savage, but like a Winchester Model 70 bolt, the push feed extractor. It's got a Remington style plunger ejector, spring loaded. The scope here, it's pretty good bang for a buck. I got it a few years back. Oh, it comes with the Picatinny rail too. So what you gotta do is get Picatinny rail rings to mount any scope on this rifle. This is an Arcan. I think it's a company founded by a Navy SEAL. It's pretty clear glass and very repeatable adjustments on the turret, on the elevation and windage. It's also illuminated, and it's got a side adjusting parallax adjustment on the side of the scope. It's a 4x16 by 50 millimeter. Clear sight picture. It's got a Christmas tree reticle. It's like a later sniper style reticle. I'm not really fond of it. I'm kind of old school. I had my training was with Mill Dots, which is a duplex reticle with milliridian dots. They space the mill apart on the reticle. You can actually, once you get used to it, you can do ranging with it. I can range an object by counting the dots and then making my adjustments. For me, it's real quick. The Christmas tree reticle has the windage built in, and the gradations are kind of hard on the old eyes. It's got a big throw lever to adjust the power up and down. 34 millimeter tube. When I bought this thing, they were running on special. They were just introducing them. Came with the rings, the scope caps, and I think it was some ridiculous, like 300 bucks. And for a scope that costs 300 bucks, it's very, very good. It's almost as good as my loopholes that cost 3 or 4 times more than that. but it's not appropriate for a hunt rifle. If I was going to, I'm so impressed with this cartridge. On my next build, I'm going to build a bolt gun, specifically as a target gun, and obviously I'll swap this scope off onto that. But if I retain this as any type of hunt rifle, put a lightweight scope on it, you get a 6.5 pound rifle, very light barrel, and you'd be surprised how accurate it shoots, even with that pencil barrel and the fluting. It's surprisingly accurate. I'm going to, oh yeah, trigger pull. Maybe do the trigger pull over here. I'll put the bolt back in. Put the bolt back in. All right. Pulled it last night. There's 3 pounds on the button. It's almost got like a Savage Accu trigger. I've got to point out a little lever in the face of the trigger, kind of like a Glock with the Savage Accu triggers like that. It allows them to make a very light trigger, very safe. 3 pounds on a button, so can't ask for better than that. There's no creep, just nice and clean. A lot of bang for the buck for this rifle combo. This whole combo here, as it sits, probably under $850. And I've shot this thing at 1,000 yards and pink steel with it quite easily and repeatedly. Just using this Norma. I do have some hand loads. My hand load, and this is done in 2022, yeah, basically 4 years ago. I might get the rifle 5 years, so 140 grain, looks like Nosler ballistic tip. No, that's wrong. No, it's a Sierra Match King, sorry. The powder is Hogden H4831 on this particular load, 54 grains. So, CCI primer. I wrote on the box it gets 2950 feet per second. I have another hand load. I was using shortcut powder. I get the 2 boxes here. I'm going to use some of this Winchester when we do the shooting tests. 6.5 PRC and the Norma and my hand loads for the shooting tests. In all these videos, the history of the introduction is in the beginning. In the middle is all the shooting demonstrations, chronograph, terminal performance, shooting at plates, accuracy target, whatever offhand demonstrations, ballistic pendulums, and the last part is the summary, observations and a summary. So you can skip around to whatever interests you. But I try and be thorough. Like I said, a new cartridge, I like it, and I'm going to probably relegate this rifle, if I retain it, to like a hunt rifle status. I'll take off this scope and put it on a purpose-built target rifle. But my messing around with it for the last few years, Plinken steel, it's quite capable of gun. And for such a reasonable price point. I think when I went on the site yesterday, Mossberg, I think the MSRP is $530 for this rifle, this exact rifle, and 6.5 PRC. So with that, let's get to the shooting. Okay, at the chronograph, I'm only going to fire 3 shots, 3 different loads. Magazine's loaded, but the shots will be in this order. Norma factory match, 143 grain projectile first. The Winchester match is second with 140 grain projectile. And third is my hand load with 140 grain projectile Sierra Match King. Both cameras are running, guns loaded. Okay, take the frame. 2774. That was a Norma. Now this is a Winchester. $29.77. Of quite a big step up there. And now my hand load. $28.69. So there's a big spread in velocity there between the Norma and the Winchester, and mine was on the heels of the Winchester there. So on to the next thing. $27.74. That was the Norma. Now this is the Winchester. $29.77. Quite a big step up there. Now my hand load. $28.69. Okay, out here for our terminal effects test on the 6.5 PRC. I'm going to use a 143 grain Norma match round. This is one of a 27.75, 2800 feet a second. If you haven't seen it before, 30 inches of water there. It's an analog for human or animal target. 6 inches of water, 3/4 inch piece of plywood that's been shot, simulates heavy bone, it's marked. 2 more jugs of water, 12 inches of water, another 3/4 inch piece of plywood that's fresh, never been shot. Another jug of water, 6 inches, another sheet of plywood been shot and marked, and a 5th jug of water and a bunch of plywood behind it. It's 8 degrees out. The wind chill makes it like 15 below. This all is going to turn ice anyway. It doesn't matter. It's big blizzard, snowstorm coming tomorrow. So I'm going to pause this, set the other camera in motion, and take the shot. Okay, I think I'm in the shot here. I just stick my offhand glove on. I'm going to try and get this on camera. The other camera's running. And, oh. Okay, pause this. I'm going to do the autopsy. Put this away. I didn't get dosed. That was a good thing. I don't want to lose the brass. All right. Got fragments of the bullet. It's not a hunting bullet. Match bullet. It's really not designed for them, but really target shooting, or I guess in the military would be sniper use. But jug number 1, it hit right in the dot, so I have my offset correct. Vaporized the jug. First sheet of plywood went in there, come out there. It looks like it's starting to tumble. I gotta do this quick because my feet are starting to stick to the ground. That's how quick it's turning as ice. Went in here, ripped the second jug apart. Some of the fragments on the table and the jacket and part of the core were in the 3rd jug. Went in here, didn't do much. Dimpled the plywood and part fell on the table, part fell on the jug. 3rd sheet of plywood. That's the exit from the 3rd jug. It dimpled it and just broke apart. I probably weigh some of this, but you know, like I said, it's not designed to stay together. Jacket and partial core. This was on a table. You can see the core is kind of folded. Some other fragments and lead dust basically in the water there. But that'll do it for the terminal effect demo of this Norma 143 grain match ammo. Like I said, if you're going to hunt with this rifle, they make premium hunting loads. Hornady, I think Winchester does. So as I got this rifle as a test bed for the cartridge, so I have all target rounds. So me wrap this up and I'll be it. Okay, I'm out here at the, I'm going to do the accuracy target with the 6.5 PRC. I got like 5 aiming points down there. I'm going to use my hand loads first. It's 3 in a gun, 3 3-shot groups. 140 grain Sierra Match King, H4831 shortcut powder, 54 grains. I wrote on here 2900 feet a second on the box. But got my gears on, the other camera's running. The next 2 will be factory ammo. I get some 140 grain Winchester match and some factory Norma golden target 143 grain. And that'll be the second and third 3-shot groups. It's the afternoon here, so the sun's in my eyes, but let's see what we can do. Alright, this will be the top left group. Pick a round up. Okay. Everything's full of ice here. I think I'll do the Norma next. Okay, the factory Norma will be the top right aiming point. These are 140 grain Winchesters. I'm gonna shoot these at the center aiming point. You know what? Right there at the bottom left, bottom right. The target's blowing around down there. Get these up before they freeze to the table. We're going to pause this, go down and look at our target, see what we got. Okay, got the 100-yard target. Not bad considering the conditions out here. It's 15 degrees and windy. The target down there is blowing, but these are my hand loads. These were, this target saved all from the SKS video. It's a 7.62x39. These 3 hits of the hand loads. They're printing about 2 inches high. But I had this gun zeroed in the summertime. It was like 85 or 90 degrees. It's 15, if that, out here now today. That scope's got a 0 stop. So climate conditions, you gotta take that into account. This is the Norma factory, 1 MOA. You know, this is just a rack grade, inexpensive hunting rifle here. You know, it's doing pretty good. This is the Winchester, probably an MOA1/4, maybe MOA1/2, but that'll be our 100-yard accuracy target. I'm gonna shoot this rifle at the steel plates from 225, 150, 100, and seeing as I'm printing high at 3 inches at 100, the target just went off into the woods. I gotta go fetch it. Put the long range camera on it, and that'll wrap up our shooting demonstrations with the Mossberg Patriot Predator and a 6.5 PRC. Excellent cartridge. So let me pause this and set the next test up. Okay, I'm going to do the comparative recoil, comparative ballistic pendulum energy imparted to my two little steel plates down there, 8-inch steel plates, about 35 yards away. Center plate, I'm going to shoot with the 223 55 grain, and my hand loads, the 140 grain Sierra Match King on the right plate. You can do it offhand. You see the recoil, which is really mild, and the energy imparted to the two plates down there. First up, the 223, the Savage Axis center plate. Can't fit my finger in the trigger out here. Alright, that's our Savage 223. And out our Mossberg Patriot Predator. Quite a smack. Okay, I'm going to shoot the 225 yard plate. I'm gonna actually do something a little different. I'm gonna just see the striking energy. I'm gonna shoot some 55 grain 223 at it, out of the Savage, 2 shots. I got 4 in a rifle. I'll shoot the 225 first. The long range camera's running, and I'll try some other plates, the 150s, and it's in the camera frame. So let's try the 223. Solid smack. Alright, got it swinging a little. I got 4 in this Mossberg. These are my hand loads. All right. Quite a smack. Crank the scope down a little too high. I try the next two with the 150. Try the small plate. It's only half visible. I whacked it pretty hard. Let's try the other plate at the 150. Nice. I'm going to try a little bit of this Winchester. It's actually a pleasure to shoot. No recoil. Very little recoil. I pull full more in. I had to go with the 225. That's better. Crank the scope down. And I think that'll be my little demonstration here. Clean this up and on to the next thing. Pleasant rifle to shoot, even off the bench. I think my next build will be a 6.5 bolt action, you know, designed target gun, and this will make a fine hunting rifle. Maybe I'll trade it in. But solid snack. All right, got it swinging a little. In this Mossberg. These are my hand loads. Quite a snap. Scope down, won't go too high. I try the next two with the 150. Try the small plate. It's only half visible. I whacked it pretty hard. Let's try the other plate at the 150. That's better. Crank the scope down. Okay, back for our summary. My summary on this very fine 6.5 PRC cartridge, and very fine, very inexpensive Mossberg Patriot Predator rifle. Did the usual shooting demonstrations, did the chronograph, used 3 different loads. Norma factory match load with a 143 grain projectile. Only fire 1 shot apiece. I'm not doing, if I was doing an ammo test and someone was giving me the ammo, then yes, I'll shoot multiple rounds up. I don't want to waste them over a chronograph. Velocity was 2,774 feet per second, and the energy was 2,444 foot-pounds. Next up was a Winchester match, 140 grain. I assume a Sierra Match King or something like that. It doesn't state the bullet. It's 3 grains less. 2,977 feet a second, so it's over 200 feet a second more than the normal load, and the energy translates to 2,756 foot-pounds of energy. My hand load, 140 grain Sierra Match King. The hand load I fired over the chronograph was the shortcut powder. I don't know if the charge was the same, but I have a second hand load here with just a non-shortcut powder. I haven't done a lot of load development because the load data was scarce. That Hornady manual only came out like 5 months ago. So it had PRC data, but none of my other manuals do. The hand load, 140 grain Sierra Match King. The velocity was 2,869 feet a second, so kind of squarely in the middle, splits the difference between the two, and 2,559 foot-pounds of energy. As a target cartridge, or sniper rifle cartridge, 140 grain Sierra Match King at 2,950 feet a second goes transonic around. That means it starts dropping from supersonic to subsonic at about 1,450 yards. That's a long way away. I think the neck and neck with the 300 Magnum, that's when that goes transonic. When a bullet says supersonic, it's predictable accuracy also is retained. You can predict the accuracy. When it starts to drop into the transonic region, going back into the subsonic, the bullet gets buffeted and its accurate, its predictable accuracy deteriorates quite, becomes unpredictable. But as long as the supersonic, you can, all things being equal, you can generally predict the accuracy, and that's a long way for transonic. A 308, 168 grain match round goes transonic at about 870, 880 yards, so a whole lot less. But I forgot to mention that. But did the chronograph, did the terminal effects test. These are match bullets. These are not hunting bullets. These are not controlled inspection bullets. You should never hunt a game animal with match bullet unless that's all you have, and things are very, very tough. In place you shot well, a broadside lung shot on a deer, it would do the job. But the bullet blew up and fragmented in a million pieces. All I recovered was this. It's in this little tin here, and I weighed it. It came out to 40 grains out of the 140. There's lead fragments. The jacket all peeled apart with some lead jammed in it. But I lost 100 grains of weight. It almost looked like lead powder on that table mixed in with the water when I dumped it out of the jug. So they're designed for accuracy, not for humane hunting application. The military uses open-tipped match ammo, same bullets, on human adversaries or soldiers, but it's a different game. Did the offhand recoil comparison and ballistic pendulums, the 8-inch steel plates, 223 versus the 5.56, not 223, the 223 versus the 6.5 PRC. Get all my numbers jumbled up here. Center plate shot, 223 imparts its energy, and then the 6.5 PRC really smacked it pretty good. Did that. The most recoil you're going to absorb or feel is when you're shooting off a bench. We shoot offhand, it's a lot less, on all the rifles. Off the bench, it's pleasant to shoot. You shoot this thing all day without fatiguing yourself. I can't say that with a 300 Winchester Magnum target rifle, and I'll do a video on that one day. You know, it's full barrel Remington, you know, set up as a long-range target rifle. But I repeated the thing at 225 yards with the 223 and the 6.5, and the long-range camera, you know, captured that. Did that test, did the accuracy test, and this is the target. It's got 5 aiming points. This one here is my hand loads. I felt I pulled the shot even though I didn't call it on camera, but when the shot broke, I knew I was off. But I was off a little bit. Otherwise, it'd be MOA or less. This group here is the Norma Factory 143 grain. It's about 1 MOA, and that's the Winchester down here. It's about a MOA and a quarter, if I had to measure it. And this is out of a rack breed, pencil barreled, $450 hunt rifle. It's pretty damn good accuracy. If I continue to develop a hand load for this rifle, I bet this gun will shoot half MOA. You know, generally if you know what you're doing, and tune your load for your rifle. But I'm not going to continue further development. That maybe some of the hand loads, but I will build a rifle in the future in 6.5. I like the cartridge. I think it's a very fine cartridge. Did the internal effects test when I recovered the bullet. That's an analog for human or animal adversary. 6 inches of water, first jug, 3/4 inch piece of plywood, heavy bone, 2 more jugs of water, and 12 inches of water, another 3/4 inch piece of plywood, another jug, some more plywood. Bullet basically shredded the first jug, punched right, you know, through, but it looked like it's starting to flip, the bullet in the first piece of plywood. Shredded the second jug, poked a hole in the third jug, and dimpled the second piece of plywood. And the fragments were on the table, and something what I weighed, the 40 grains, that was in the third jug. So I shot the steel plates after I did the ballistic pendulums and offhand energy. I shot basically at 150 and 220. I think I shot most of the shots at 225. I should say 225. And on my altered range after the logging operation, and the 150, I think it's a 4-inch plate, 6-inch plate. The camera distorts things with the telephoto lens, but things look bigger than they are. And there's a log. I haven't figured out where the log is, but when you're sitting at the bench, it's them 2 plates they have obscured. Ping them, no problem. In fact, I smacked the little plate so hard I thought it was going to rip off. I have to put a new strap on. I rapidly, the 4-shot magazine, rapidly engaged the 225 plate, and this Patriot's got this detachable box magazine, holds 4 rounds, which I forgot to mention in the intro. Helical fluted bolt. You can actually put one in the chamber, so you could have 5 rounds in the gun. Chamber around and top the magazine off. Most hunting situations is 3 rounds. You're lucky to get a second shot off. If you don't get a good anchoring shot on a game animal. Every gun's a tool, every cartridge is a tool. What is this optimized for? In the hunting realm, I would say game up to, at the outside limit, elk or moose with the right bullet and the right shot, but really optimized for long range shots at goats, sheep, pronghorn, deer, of course, an open field, 300 yards away, 350 yards away. My personal limit's 400 yards with any type of, hunting situation. Yes, can I hit stuff at 700 or 800? Yes, but it's not ethical to take an animal like that, in my opinion. So I won't do it. Everyone can do what they want to do. In the target realm, it's a great target cartridge. It was designed as such. It's pretty efficient. It's low recoiling. It's accurate. I bet in a purpose-built, target bolt gun, I'd be shooting in the same hole with this cartridge. And my hand loads, even the factory stuff. In a defensive realm, obviously, if you're defending some type of rural property or whatever, and something where the rule of law is collapsed, and you're all by yourself. Does it make a very fine sniper setup? Yes, it does. Cartridge and not even this rifle, you know, you have no problem reaching out hundreds of yards and connecting. But it's like a tool. God forbid any of us ever has to see that. But you never know with the world. The world's always been burning. Burning and turning, as Billy Joel was saying. I found this Hornady match I had, bought, but I never got a chance to fire it. So maybe I'll do a follow-up one of these days. It's a 147 ELD match. The Hornady loaded stuff. There are some hunting, good hunting bullets. I don't plan to use this as a hunting rifle, so if I do, I will get the appropriate hunting bullets to target it. I'm sure I forgot a few things, and sometimes I ramble on. It's 4 degrees out and snowing. The shooting conditions were friggin' horrific. The wind chill was sub-zero. It was in the 15 or 20 when I'm shooting all them shooting videos. In fact, when I did the thermal effects test, the water, when it was on the ground, it was almost instantly freezing. My feet were sticking to the ground. Trying to clean it up real quick. So it's not the best shooting conditions. But even so, performs very good. And I think I mentioned when I was doing the accuracy target, I sighted this gun in 85 and 90 degree weather, and you will get an impact shift when you vary almost 90 degrees in temperature. But they were all grouping in the same area relative to my aiming point, which was the center of them diamonds. So it's about anywhere from 2 to 3 inches high. If I was just using one load, you zero your scope and your gun with one load, and it'd be dialed in. I would zero it dead on, at 100, because it's not a hunting rifle rope mode. And then when I do my elevation adjustments, I can just dial it in from the elevation turret. And another good thing with the scopes is zero stop. So when you crank it back down, it cranks down to 0, so you don't go below, and you're all over the place, trying to recalibrate your scope for whatever range you're shooting at. But yeah, this is running probably a little long, so I'm gonna end it. I'm Old Gun Guy. Like and subscribe, and have a good afternoon.